What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions from Offside. Another episode. We're back again. Here I am with Kanye South.
I thought it was Kanye West.
I know, I'm going to try to change it every episode. How are you, bro? What's going on?
Not a lot, really. Just another day. Got work soon, but the podcast things need sorting out. Things need discussing.
That's what I mean. We've got to discuss these things, set the world to rights. And the first one I've got for you today is player agents. Help or hindrance? Does the game need them? Have they spoiled it?
I would say, absolutely would say yes, they are needed. I think their media is. To me, the player agents would be like the same sort of thing as ensuring that their client's getting the best. However, I don't think the agent should be paid by clubs. I think you should hire an agent to work for you as a player. If I hire you as my agent, I pay you. How well you do for me, okay, I will receive less, but you will get more. Same as most businesses. To me, I look at agents the same as PRs. So if anyone doesn't know what the PR is, it's the promotional teams you use where we live in Tenerife. So I did it for 3 years. I'm on the streets, talking, not like that, talking to people, getting them into the bar.
You made decent money doing that, didn't you?
That's a different podcast.
I was walking funny for a while. Go on.
It's all right. I've got my walking stick. It's fine. So my job was to speak to people on the streets, get them into the bar to buy a deal. I would earn €1 for every €6 I put in the till. The bar wouldn't pay me a basic. I wouldn't get any money from anything else. That was my wage, and I had a good wage from it. So as an agent, I think that's how it should be. If for every, I don't know, say for every 100, say every 10 grand you get me, why am I not paying you £1,000? I'd happily pay that out of my money. If you then said, listen, you're happy for 10, I'll get you 20. All right, you get me 20. I'm 9 grand up. You're 2 grand up. That's how I would look at it.
They're now bringing in a cap on how much the agents can make. So, I mean, maybe they're trying to sort it out that way. The problem you got in the modern game is there's not just one agent. There's lots of intermediaries. So particularly if you're buying a player from South America, there's other family members that want to cut. There's people all the way down the line. Someone wants an introductory fee. And it spirals sometimes when you get 5, 6, 7 people on the payroll holding their hand out for money for one player transfer.
So if they're going to limit this per agent, then surely that's what's going to happen. Why would say I have an agency, right? Okay, Mr. Lever, I can certainly sort you out your contract renewal, but I need 4 of my staff to do it. So now the max they can get is the maximum per staff member 4 times. I think you're just asking for ways to beat the system. I think if you said, right, if you want an agent, you pay your agent. The clubs are not allowed to pay their agent. I mean, this happened when one of the places I worked as a PR, we were capped. The most you could earn is €120 a night. So what would happen as soon as I've hit my 120, stop working. Yeah, of course, I stopped working.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you'd go like, okay, I'm your agent, right? And you'll give me 15% if I can get you a deal and you're about to go and sign for whoever, right? You're going to go and sign for Arsenal. But out of that, if there's people that also went and helped do that and made an introduction between me and Arsenal and this, that comes out of my percentage and filters down.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. If you need, I mean, bear in mind, most agents will know agents because it's the same. It's the same little circle. Most footballers know each other, so I'm guessing it's the same sort of circle. If you don't know someone, like, imagine if you said to me and mentioned a bar in Tenerife. If you don't know them, I'm pretty sure I would know. If neither of us know them, we know someone who would know someone. Yeah. So if that's the case, if I need to make an introduction for me to make money, then I take the hit. If that means, listen, there's 500 quid for you, but I'm going to make 25 grand, why would you not just do that? That's how I would look at it.
So when I posed the question, you said that you felt agents were necessary and needed. How do you feel about the outliers from that, like family agents, like Declan Rice's agent is his dad, Sean. Harry Kane's agent is his brother. His brother only has Harry as his only client. Do you not think that works better?
It could, but then I flip that round, and I think there's always there's the exceptions to the rules. Look at Nicholas Anelka. His brother was his agent, and he just made him transfer. Apparently, from what you hear, that's a shame, that, because I thought Nelka was a brilliant footballer. Like, even when he was at Bolton, he was at Liverpool, and like, everyone was like, he's not really scoring the goals, but his play was so good. He was so useful for us at the time. I think he only got 7 goals, but he was so good, and we wanted to keep him, but according to the stories, his agent wanted to take him somewhere else, which was a shame.
It's dodgy, because Marko Arnautovic's brother was his agent, and he'd done the same thing, because so I've got to be careful what I say on here. There was allegations. It was alleged he had gambling debts and needed a large chunk of money. And so he was trying to engineer a move for him just for the signing on fee. So like you say, it doesn't always work. And the other dodgy one was, so there's a lot of nepotism in football as well. Like, again, I can only normally, I bring up West Ham a lot, but I'm more in the West Ham world in that bubble. So I know more about things that have gone on in my club, which is why I use it as a point of reference. So over the last few years, we've had Pellegrini, and then employed Pellegrini's son. And we had the director of football, Huselos, and then his son. And then we had David Moyes and his son, and his brother. And then his brother was the main instigator in buying Jordan Hugill from Preston. And I think for like 10 or 11 million, may have been as much as 12. And then he never really played a first team game for us. So it all seems a little bit, without making accusations, it all seems a little bit dodgy, like a little bit for the family. You know what I mean?
Well, I would look at that as, you've got to look at like the club. If that was me, if you have your recommendation, I want this scouting team, that's fine. When it comes down to buying the players, I'm sure it was down to the club to decide, right, are we buying that player? If you agree to it, I mean, there's been championship players bought, they've done really well, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? It doesn't seem. But I mean, I'm guessing there must be a couple of players that they've found, little stars, little players that have, or the scouting system, because I'm sure it's just not 2. I mean, most scouting systems are 10, 12, 14 strong.
I'll tell you what, we'll go into that in a minute. We'll finish up on agents, but that's an interesting topic of conversation. And that's the way the game has changed in terms of numbers and analytics now. So we'll talk about it in a sec, but just finishing up on agents, I think, again, without making accusations, but I'm going to speak my mind. I think there's definitely, when you said about there's networks, I think there's definitely favours going on, because all clubs have agents that they favour. And it's not necessarily that they're the only ones with players on their books, but it means everybody earns out of the deal. Do you know what I mean? And that's a bit of an issue at my club at the moment, where a certain agent is sent out to close a deal that's nothing to do with it, just so that everybody gets their piece. And
it does seem a bit. It does seem a bit crazy. I mean, you'd think in certain circles and certain situations, especially with that sort of money, you'd think there would be. I know they've just started bringing the registration in, and you have to pass an exam and stuff like that, but it's been a long time coming. Like, I understand, like, if they're on about bringing a regulatory body in for the Premier League, why has this not been done such a long time ago? I mean, like I say, I think agents are important, because I think in certain situations, like, and it's not pointing out at clubs or anything like that, but if most employers that I've worked for, if they can get away with paying you a bit less, regardless of how much of what your work you do, they would. I mean, we've seen situations like that out here, where I could speak about people's names that they're earning less than they should be, and there's people who are doing less work earning more in the same company, and things like that don't make any sense. So I think if that was to happen without an agent looking out for you, knowing your market value for your position, I mean, the best conversation I've heard was the Danny Mills one, when he was about to sign a new contract at Leeds. A fake story was put out at Middlesbrough, we're going to bid 7 million. He had his friend as his lawyer, as the mate at McDonald's. What should we ask for, Danny? Ask for 35. Well, that's 35 a week. Yeah. Yeah, but so-and-so's got 12 caps. You've got 15. Maybe we should ask for this. 15-minute drive from McDonald's to meet Ridsdale. They're asking for 60 grand.
Talking yourself out of the deal. You're talking yourself out of the deal.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that's why it is important to have someone there who they can go, listen, right, let's get this deal done the right way. they'll get a fair wage. You pay a fair amount. If you can save a bit and he can make a bit, that's fine. That's why I think they would be important. But I still believe that your agent should be paid by who you represent. If you're my agent as a club, you did the negotiating. I should pay you. If you're my player's agent, the player should pay you.
I'm not sure on the details, but I think last season was the last year that agents that were related to the player could make a certain amount out of it, which is another reason why the Rice deal went through then.
Really?
So it's funny. Yeah. So let's move on to what we're saying about the way the game has changed in terms of scouting networks. You look at people like Brighton and like Brentford, who are doing that Moneyball type system where they've got teams of analysts in there analysing the numbers. I need someone who covers this many yards, per game, wins this many tackles, and so on. The XP is this and that. How do you feel about that? And is it working? Because we've just done that again over at the Hammers. We've got Maximilian Hahn and Tim Stighton, and Maximilian Hahn is the analyst, so he's the data-driven guy. And then supposing you want a strong centre-back who's quick and wins 5 headers a game and scores you 5 goals a season from corners, they search their database and then they give you a list of, okay, there's one in South America. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like it's getting a little bit, do you think there's an advantage to that, looking at the statistics, or do numbers lie sometimes?
I think stats don't lie, but stats can be interpreted. That's how I look at it. So, like, you can imagine, like, if I could say to you the game I played Monday, scored 2 goals, 2 with the left foot, took on 7 dribbles, made 14 tackles, but it's 7 aside. It's slightly different. It doesn't look the same. I mean, it works. I mean, Liverpool have done it. We looked at the numbers for Salah, we looked at the numbers for Mane, we looked at the numbers for Van Dijk. Obviously, sometimes it don't work, but same as everything. I think I would probably say it's a much cleverer way of identifying targets, but I wouldn't pick targets based on that.
So you think take the data and factor it all in?
Yeah. So if I see a player that's right, he has, say I'm looking, you said a strong centre back. I'm looking for a strong centre back who wins 5 aerial duels a game. He connects with 10 set pieces a season, hits a certain speed. That's great. He might be a fantastic defender, but he might be an individual defender. And the minute you watch him, he's very good at marking his man, but he doesn't hold the shape for the team to defend, which is useless. It's no good for you. If you're going to defend individually, okay, that's great. One player is going to be sorted, but there's going to be space in behind you because you're tracking that man. When I played up front, we used to play against man markers. I used to do the same thing every time. When they played 3 at the back, I would literally go and stand on the sweeper. Now there's 2 players marking me. One of our players must be spare. Yeah, I might be out of the game for that 5-minute period, but now somebody else on our team are on the ball doing damage. So, yeah, certainly a great way to identify the players. And if they've got the stats, maybe that's a minor thing they could be coached with. Maybe they just need that team training. I said about Chris Smalling on one of the other podcasts, like individually, I thought he was exposed at United because he's an okay defender. As a team defender, I think he's exceptional. Holding a line, he covers the fullback, he knows where to be, he knows where his other centre-back is, he knows his position, he knows when to drop, he knows when to step up. Brilliant, but I think in England he got exposed individually.
Is he vocal? Does he lead, like run the line, like run when you push you, when you're going?
He seems it. When I've watched some of the highlights of the Roma games, especially his second year there, was it second or third? One of the years he was injured. It might be second or third. He's just constant there. Yeah. His arms are just up all the time, controlling the line, dropping back. Exceptional, really, really good. I mean, he had some good players around him, but like that sort of thing, especially going in from, I think Philip Mexis was the last good centre back at Roma. He's gone in and he's just stepped into the hole. He's just filled the gap and he's done really well. I know he's getting, was he now 33? But you compare what happened to Chris Smalling and Phil Jones. Phil Jones was supposed to be a better player.
Where is he now?
As far as I know, he's unattached. He got released, was it last year? Nothing else?
he became a bit of a meme, didn't he? He became a bit of a laughing stock, and I think that undermined him a little bit. You don't go and play for Man United and play X amount of games in the Premier League without being able to do a job, competent.
Oh yeah, you got to. I mean, even when he got back into the team, he was a part of the memes because of the bit where he was falling over. But if you watch the clip, if you watch the clip of where you see him falling over, he's actually doing something that John Terry used to do. He's falling over, he's off balance. He's putting his head in a place where you're expecting to get kicked to move the ball a couple of centimeters to make sure the shot doesn't go on target. It takes a certain type of person to do that, to put your head in that sort of position. And I think the problem with Phil Jones, he just stayed there too long. I think maybe, I don't know if it's a money thing or he got stale or he was just proud to be at United for so long. But when Fergie signed him, he said that he's a centre back that can play centre midfield. He was raved about, absolutely raved about. And then to think he's just the two careers of Smalling and Jones were very similar. Smalling leaves, brilliant. Talk of him getting back into the England squad. Jones is still there and still injured and playing 7-8 games a season if he's lucky.
You want to talk about having a proper CV of championship medals and whatnot? Who am I thinking of? United again.
Sick of talking about United.
I know. We seem to a lot, don't we?
It's our era, though. When we were growing up, that's what etched in my mind with my brother being a Man U fan. Yeah, dominant, very dominant. Just crazy. Championship CV?
Yeah, no. Like, as in, like, he sat on the bench for most of his career. Or maybe I'm being unfair. No, I think you'll agree. He sat on the bench for most of his career, but he's won more in the game than most people today.
Ooh. Goalkeeper?
Centre-back.
Centre-back, sat on the bench most of the time, not done a lot.
In that era.
United.
Yeah, in that era.
You're going to say it, I'm going like, I should have got that.
Shall I say it, or do you want to have a think?
Go for it.
David, mate?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a bit harsh.
Oh,
he won the league at Blackburn.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Won the league with Blackburn, and then was it United signed? Did they get Henningberg as well?
Yeah,
before David May got Henningberg. And
when did they bring in Stam?
Well, Stam left. Did he leave after the 99? Was it the year after that he left? So he would have been there about 4 years.
When did they win the Champions League at the last minute? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? That was 99, wasn't it?
That was 99, yeah. Schmeichel's last game.
Yeah.
Remember watching it with brother, yeah.
Talking about controversial opinions and the hot takes that you're giving, you blew my mind the other day in a conversation, which I think was a private conversation, where you said about, it was a private conversation, it was topics for this, which we won't go into the topic now, but we were talking about was like certain managers as good as their CVs and whatever. You said that he got lucky, Ferguson got lucky with goalkeepers. And one of the people you listed he was lucky with was Schmeichel. Yeah,
I thought he was lucky with Schmeichel. He got Schmeichel before scouting networks were about. I think he was lucky. There was no I don't think there was as much preparation as to go into goalkeepers now. He's bought a goalkeeper. He looked okay. He needed a keeper. He's done well. If you compare the goalkeepers that Fergie's bought, Taibe, Howard. Okay, Howard came good, but wasn't great.
Van der Sar was good.
Van der Sar, I think Van der Sar was an obvious choice though. Van der Sar had a release clause at Fulham. So he could have got him when he was at Juventus and didn't want him. So that's where I look at things like that. I mean, you had your Taibes, he brought in Andy Gorham, like Rangers legend, but he brought in Andy Gorham at 36, 37. You had Van der Haar, we had...
Not the first team goalkeeper though, was he?
Andy Gorham played a fair few games. He bought Barthez.
If you're doing your strongest 11 at that time, Gorham's not in goal, is he?
I can't remember who else was there, but I know that Barthez was brought in to be the number one. And it's
crazy, wasn't it?
Just mental. He just seemed like a lunar. Just seemed crazy. So if you look at the goalkeepers that I think Fergie signed, successful ones, you'd have De Gea, Van der Sar, Schmeichel. You've probably got Raymond van der Haar was brought in as a replacement. You had Mark Bosnich.
He was on fire when he was at Villa. Remember?
Yeah, but then he had those other issues, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It's weird with transfers because we only really look at our own club and we think about how many flops there have been. And it's like, I wonder what the ratio is looking around, because just some of the players you're naming there, like really obscure. Like, I mean, we've got to get away from United, but just while we're talking about like Jasper Blomqvist and like Jordi Cruyff and people like that, like so many didn't really work. Like Taibbi was a nightmare, wasn't he? Like, here's a question for you: who was more calamitous? And I'm not going to say David Jones. Who was more calamitous?
That's what I thought you were going to say.
No, Taibbi or Roberto for West Ham. Did you see how bad he was? I remember Taibbi letting the ball in from a shot, bobbling through his hands and through his legs into the goal.
Yeah,
I've seen Roberto literally from a corner come out, a ball that's not on target, and punch it into his own net.
I'd have to go Roberto, like, because as Taibbi that was probably one of his major mistakes. He didn't make many more mistakes in regards to goalkeeping, what you'd expect, but that one was just a shocker, wasn't it? Just like, I think it was Matt Letizia that shot it as well. Like,
was it really?
I'm sure it was Letizia that hit the shot. But wow, just the basic. I mean, I played a goal. We were always taught how to bend down. You one leg, cross the knee. If it slips from your hands, it just it's your. But to roll it, just fall. Oh, it's just so bad. Like so bad. And then after that, he was never the same goalkeeper. Like, I don't know if that's just a pressure thing, or was he just exposed as he was not that good a goalkeeper in the first place? I don't know. But
do you know, you were naming like all the goalkeepers they went through. Roy Carroll as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, Roy Carroll, the Pedro Mendes from the halfway line. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like crazy. I mean, Liverpool had the similar situation. We were going through goalkeepers like when we had David James. We had
a keeper now, right?
We've got a great goalkeeper now. Probably best top three in the world, I'd say. But then we had Brad Friedel, and then we let him go for free. Like crazy.
Didn't he come from Blackburn as well?
No, we let him go to Blackburn for free. We got him from America, and we gave him to Blackburn for free. And I'm sure it was on the condition they paid the extra agreed fees later on, and Blackburn got him for free. And how good was Friedel? Like so good. And then we had Westerveld, we had Kirkland, Carson.
Do you remember we made a mistake in the Champions League final, didn't he? Kirkland.
Which one?
That was it. It began with a K. It was like
Karius. Yeah, Karius is the one that threw the ball at Benzema's foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one mistake can ruin a goalkeeper. Like even a good goalkeeper like Rob Green against America in the World Cup. Like that took a bit out of him, I think. You know
Same as Robinson, the one against Croatia. The ball bounced over his foot. England didn't qualify. Yeah, he didn't see the same keeper. Like some goalkeepers seem strong. I mean, if you ever watch Ben Foster's podcast, like getting beat by another goalkeeper from a kick, I think it was Begovic. That can be one of those like, oh my god, he could be shackled to your line from them, but he didn't seem to like that. He just seemed to grow into it. Like I think something like that has to happen at the right time for you.
I think Scott Carson made a big mistake as well, the high profile. I'm trying to remember what that was.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. But Scott Carson was one of them.
Might be one of his opportunities for England in a friendly or something.
Well, I'm pretty sure Scott Carson don't care now. He's got a Champions League winners medal. He's got a treble. He's won the treble. He's on 35 grand a week because he's a homegrown footballer. Like fair play to him. Like fair play.
David Mayitis.
David Mayitis.
I say get rid of Allison and bring back Bruce Grobbelaar.
Big Brucey G.
Yeah, mate.
Well, no, could be worse.
I did like goalkeepers back then. You know what you're saying about goalkeepers squad. I remember. And I don't know if it's because I was young and my mind's playing tricks with me because he had a ridiculous goal kick on him. But I'm sure I remember Ludek McCloskey scoring a goal from a goal kick.
West Ham and QPR?
Yeah, Ludo.
Yeah, I remember Big Ludo McCloskey. Can't say it, but yeah.
Boy, what's your name? We had a song, oh, big boy, what's your name? And it was they call him Ludek McCloskey. He comes from near Moscow. He plays in the goal for West Ham. It was from nowhere near Moscow, like nowhere near. But it rhymed with McCloskey.
Well, it fits. It fits for the song. Just for that, you can change it, can't you?
Yeah, that's it. So your last little bit on agents and transfers and identifying. I'll tell you what you shouldn't do. And I don't know if you've ever fell in this rabbit hole, this trap. Have you ever tried to look at a player you're linked with on their highlights on YouTube?
No, I go the other way. I look at, because I don't know if you know this, a lot of the scouting information, like one of the most detailed scouting information things you see is actually Football Manager. Like they use.
Right. So people laugh.
So detailed.
The industry used Wise Scout, right?
Yeah.
I always used to play Football Manager, and even in FIFA, if I'm doing a career, there's certain young players who go and buy it straight away, right? Because I know they're not known in the main, right? But on that game, I know they're going to develop into good players, and they're like must be really, really good. But people laugh at that when they just say, "Oh, like real life is not like FIFA and whatever." And I know what they're saying in terms of like getting bids accepted. But think about the research teams that go into making a game like Championship Manager or whatever.
It's great. Well, that's the Moneyball process. That's what they use. That's those sort of analytics. I mean, I remember. I think if I spoke to my brother, he'd probably remember the team when we were playing. I think it was a Football Manager or an LMA Manager or one of those. We used to buy a 16-year-old James Rodriguez because this was before. This is when it came out. We found him as one of the few players that were on the Colombian team. 16-year-old Cam. You could buy him. Couldn't get a work permit. You have to loan him out to an affiliated club until he could play. And we had so many players. I mean, we spoke last month, and I said I was playing Championship Manager. And you could sign a 13-year-old Fabregas from Arsenal.
Tell everybody they might be interested. What year did you go back to?
So I went back to 03-04, Championship Manager. You can go and pick up I've added a few players. There's a 14-year-old Lionel Messi. You can play attacking midfield, left or right. There's who's on there? Cristiano Ronaldo's just joined Manchester United.
And who are you? What team?
I'm Sunderland.
Right.
Sunderland at the minute. I've got a young Colombian left back called Julian De La Cuesta. You can sign him for about 300 grand, and he's an absolute monster. Mate, 17 pace, 16 acceleration. He's brilliant.
Some of the famous people I used to sign on their manager games was like Mexes.
Philip Mexes, yeah.
Said about Taribo West was on a free
transfer. Taribo, yeah. Agahawa.
Yeah. Do you remember Cherno Samba and the goals he used to score?
Oh, the 15-year-old from Millwall. Oh, I think everyone knows about him. There was another one. Yeah, I used to, when I was playing, I used to sign Paul McVeigh from Norwich because he could play anywhere up front. You could rotate him. David Bellion.
You could have him as a cam as well.
Yeah, he was brilliant. So David Bellion was always signed because you could get him on loan and Man United would pay all his wages. It'd be nice to see. I wonder what happened to some of these players you get. So I used to sign Richie Partridge from Liverpool. He was a 19-year-old left wing, right winger, Irish. Just wonder what happened to his career, wherever he went. Like, there's some players I'd love to. Might be one of those things I might look in for one of the next podcasts and do a bit of research.
Let's do it on another episode. We're also going to have another upcoming episode about players that were blighted by injury. So keep them in the bag. We might have note of them to come up on later on.
Yeah,
can we talk about? You mentioned earlier on about it might be one of the other podcasts. You talked about no. What did you say earlier on about Bolton? You mentioned something about a player at Bolton. Oh, was it? No, I'll tell you what the link was. You were talking about Nelka with the old agents.
Yeah.
Weren't you? Can we talk about that Bolton team under Big Sam?
Oh,
JJ Okocha, Djorkaeff, Campo.
Oh, that's it. Where do you start? I mean, yeah. Right. You've said Djorkaeff, JJ Okocha. I mean, remember they signed. Do you remember Mario Jardel?
Yes, he was Brazilian. He was another one in Turkey, was it, or something? He scored about 50 goals a season.
Yeah, just crazy. And then, but he didn't move. He was literally just put the ball in the box, just come alive inside the 18-yard box. He was so good. They had Ibrahim Abar. Remember him? Yes. Ibrahim Abar, right midfield. Bruno Ngotte.
Yes.
And then you had Ivan Campo. They had Fernando Hierro from Madrid.
Yeah.
Ricardo Gardner at left back. Jussi Jääskeläinen.
How did they manage that? Was that around the same sort of time, or was it a bit later? Michael Ricketts.
About the same time, I think. Ricketts, yeah, because he got in the England squad, didn't he?
Yes, he had a purple spell where he got a call up.
Yeah, Ricketts. A young Kevin Nolan was coming through.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they had Stelios Giannakopoulos. I think that's how you say it.
Have another go. Go on, do it again.
Stelios Giannakopoulos. I'm sure that's how you say it. Like,
I think you're right as well.
What a player he was. And then who was the other one they had? They had another one. I can't think of the other. Another attacking midfielder. I just thought, oh, what a player. I mean, some of the players that Big Sam brought there, just it is just like stuff injected with money and just go and get the players that would come. Like, it's just crazy. I mean, you got two Real Madrid legends. Just crazy. And then you had Anelka coming through there. Anelka went there probably a little bit later than that, but so good. So good. Crazy.
Have you got any controversial opinions for this episode?
Controversial opinions from me for you, Lever. This one's is a good one. I think this one is actually from me. This is my unpopular opinion. I think the English football team should have a team that plays in the Premier League. Right, and let me explain that, right? So how I would do it. I would have the English football team would either select or buy or loan players from under 23s that play for a club, whether that be that's a select club. So then these players constantly get used to playing, even if it's not in the Premier League, they could go and do tournaments abroad, go and play in friendlies, but have that as a regular thing where even if they say to players, right, we'll have three of it, say they've got a squad of, say the under 21s now.
So
right,
like
you've got the under 21s.
You're not talking about taking like Bellingham or, you know what I mean?
No. So those sort of players, I don't think the English FA could afford to buy them, right? So what I'm saying is take these players and take them to go and play together. Could you imagine, right? We have an England team that's one of the things that we watched in the Euros is the fluidity and the gel just wasn't there. Previously with our golden era, there was clicks because you play for this club. Imagine if you had a group of players, right, we're going to take these players on 18, 19, you're going to represent England, you're going to train together, you're going to play together, we're going to have games set up every week to play together, whether that be, there might be a bit more travelling, more put them in the championship, playing championship games where you have a spare a week or something like that, where they play specifically for one club, travelling, always playing together. If another club wants to come and buy them, absolutely sound. You can buy them at the end of the year or something like that. I think something like that where these players would be able to grow up, learn how to play with each other, learn how to play in this different style, get the competitiveness that they need, even if it is like say in the Football League Trophy, we have Liverpool reserves, Man United reserves, something like that. Starting from the bottom if you needed to, they get to play at big stadiums, get real. This is the chance where these players could get experience and maybe then go abroad and have careers in Holland or Germany or France or somewhere like that, rather than just, because it's only recently English players have gone abroad. Very rare before they go abroad. Now you got a few going. There was a couple at Dortmund, something like that, where they're showcasing themselves. I think that will be absolutely out of this world for some of these people, especially ones which are not close to the first team or the fringes of reserves. These sort of players to go and play against actual tournaments and games and in leagues. So, development-wise, I think they go a long way.
You're not talking about an international team, which is how you sort of phrased it, but I understand what you're saying there. You're talking about a development squad of under 21 players that play on a more regular basis together in order to develop together and understand a vision, like the way Spain have been together from under 15s, under 17s, under 19s, under 21. But then would clubs let their assets go to do that? And is there an argument? We've got another topic for another. I want to talk to you on another episode about, do we miss reserve football? Because the jump from under 21s to men's football is such a massive jump. So that's a subject. Are you sort of talking about approaching that gap?
Sort of. So I would actually have this team competing in a league. So actually, like whether it be at the bottom of the pyramid or wherever, actually having them in a team. So if say for example, you've got a squad of 23, 24 English players, right? These players have either been released or they've been allowed to come to play for this team for the season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, however you agree to it. They might still be owned by the club, but they belong to this team. They get in the pyramid. They can play in competitive football, club
like
football. Sort of, yeah. So just like a longer loan, but they play for the team that's representing, like it could be in England or I would say national team. So, say for example, it's called England United, for example, or England FC, or England Town, or whatever you want to call it.
Only English players.
Yeah, out of it, it's only English players purely for the development.
National squad in years to come.
Yes, that's what I do because look, look at like I know this is obscure, but Ian Wright wasn't picked up till 25. There's certain players that drop out the football pyramid then come back. Jamie Vardy, for example. There's a few that make it to the Championship or some that make it to League One. Imagine if they didn't stop for those 2 years. I know footballers that were great that stopped when their football minds developed, and I think this would help their football minds develop.
But then don't we already have that in the, I forget what competition it is. It might have been like, it is what was, it's called something else now, but it was the Johnson's Plate Trophy and then the Papa John's Trophy.
Yeah, that's like Football League Trophy.
Yeah, but you can put your development squad in that because West Ham's the team that won the FA Youth Cup got the furthest any kids team has done. Like they got to like the 5th round or something.
I would have that's like in a competition. Say you've got your development squad. They lose the first. I think there's a group stage first. Say they lose the 2 group stages. They're out. They're gone. They play 3 games. This would be how I would say to do it. You play competitive every week. Like literally every week you're playing competitive against. If it comes to one of those where listen, you're struggling, you're in. Say the team makes it to League 2, for example. You're in the football pyramid. You're playing competitively. If these players then go up, Dele Alli was at MK Dons for a while before he got picked up, and he was brilliant. These players that don't make it, there's ways to use it, even if it's a tournament. So you like say for example, we got Champions League Tuesday, Wednesday. Why can't this game be every Thursday? Europa League night. Why not? Why can't this be done something completely different, or why can't it be this is the Friday night game? Something completely different where just these players are not right. You're not developed. It's not worked out. This is an actual team you can play competitively against adults, against people with your group of squad, rather than dropping down the football pyramid and try and get back up. This is a second chance, sort of a showcase. I'm sure Glenn Hoddle did do something very similar to this, but it was in Spain. Like he did, like players that were released. They joined I'm sure it was Glenn Hoddle's academy or something. It was based in Spain, and he built them into a team, and then they could get picked up for like a small compensation fee or something crazy like that.
Right. So let me try and see if I've got it. What you're saying is not there should be like a national team that plays in the league. You are saying for people that are released from their clubs, English players, kids that are released from their clubs, could then go as part of a second chance team that would get the benefit of coaching and tactics and development, and rather than fall out and have their agents getting them a game at Ebbsfleet or whatever, they would play together as a unit for a few years.
Yeah.
Every week and continue the development.
Yeah, that's explained a lot better than my explanation. Yeah, something like that. Because I've known some very, very good footballers that have just been released from clubs, especially from my age group, for size. Released because you're too small. Like I know that wouldn't be done now, but crazy good footballers. So good. Like and better than some of the ones I've seen make it. But because of that setback, we've just dropped out of the system. Like, all right, got a normal job, and we've missed out on some really good players, especially like my brother was one of them. Such a good player, just always got told the same thing: too small. But something like that to keep you in the game, where it's not so much size, especially like if the Glenn Hoddle thing was in Spain, something like that, just to have a second chance to develop, to use your skills, and keep you in the game rather than just dropping off and then disappearing.
Sorry, go on.
I just say something like that. I would absolutely watch something like that. Something like that, I would absolutely watch because the entertainment value would be so good.
Well, there are support networks now for when players get released from their contracts. Because I think Ray Winston strangely enough, set one up.
Yeah.
To give people a second chance and try and get them in other clubs. But something like that, you could filter them straight into this team you're saying about. But just to finish up, go on, mate, unless you've got anything else to say on it.
No, go for it.
Just to finish up, supposing I was to say to you, rule Fox.
I'd say F on the Coco.
And I would say to you, Brian Gum.
I would raise you a Jeremy Goss.
And I would say Mark Robbins.
Oh, stuff of dreams. Ian Marshall.
Ian Marshall. That's a good name. Name the team. Who are we talking about?
Norwich.
Norwich,
Yeah, Norwich.
Yeah, am I dreaming, or did Huckabee play for Norwich for a while? He was famous
He did.
at college. He was at Norwich as well. I'm going to give you Darren Huckabee.
Huckabee, David Bentley.
David Bentley, yes, he did. He was at Blackburn as well. He played for West Ham, and he had enough of it and retired at 27 or something.
I'm sure, as according to the podcast I've listened to before, he's got a bar in Malaga. That's his thing now. Yeah, he's a bar owner.
Mate, if he's happy, he's happy. Mate,
that's it. You got to be happy.
That's it. And I'm happy with that today. That's another fantastic episode, mate. Cheers, Kanye.
Right, no problem, Mr. Lever.
Mate, I hope everybody enjoyed it. Remember to stick a like and a subscribe, ring the notification bell. And again, it's really important whilst we're trying to build this up and chat in a way that you leave a little bit of interaction in the comments. Let us know any subjects you want to talk about. Let us know what you think about our opinions and Kanye's hot takes. Let us know any subjects that you think are worth investigating. And we'll always get back to you in the comments. And until next time, we'll see you soon from
Opinions from Offside.
Opinions from Offside. Cheers, guys. See you soon.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.